My Thailand nightmare. I arrived in Thailand just over a week ago. I had a fantastic few days exploring Bangkok, and then an amazing trip to the jungle in Chiang Mai where I learned about traditional Thai medicine and also got my first tattoo. Everything was going great until I arrived in Phuket. After getting there, I went straight to Patong Beach and then to the infamous Bungalow Road at night. I love walking around looking for food. But this is when things took a turn. I felt terrible after eating some street food, so I bought a bottle of water and started heading back to my hotel. At this point, I had been walking around for hours with my girlfriend and we were both exhausted. We wanted to get some rest so we could head out again the next day and explore more parts of the island. As we walked down Bungalow Road, we turned onto a soi, which is a small road that leads off from the main road. The streets in Thailand are not very well lit, so it's hard to see where you're walking at night. And because of this, I stepped on a pothole and twisted my ankle. Instantly, I knew I had done something serious. It was excruciatingly painful and I couldn't walk. My girlfriend helped me to a nearby pharmacy, where I got some painkillers and an ice bag. We then tried to get a taxi, but no one would stop because we were on a small side street. Eventually, we flagged down a taxi and I made it back to the hotel, barely making it up the stairs. I hobbled into the shower and soaked my foot in cold water. The next morning, I got up and tried to walk on my foot. It was still incredibly painful and swollen, so I went back to the pharmacy and got some more medication. They even gave me a walking stick, which was a huge help. They told me to go back in a week if it's still hurting. So we spent the next few days resting up at the hotel. It was extremely painful and boring. I watched all the Star Wars movies and Lord of the Rings movies back to back. I was starting to feel better, but I was still in a lot of pain. On the third day, I decided to go back to the pharmacy. But when I put weight on my foot, it buckled under me and I fell. Luckily, my girlfriend was there and she caught me. She was so scared and immediately picked me up and carried me back to the hotel. It was such a long walk, and she didn't complain once. When we got back, I asked her how she could carry me all the way back to the hotel like that, and she said, "We have to do what we have to do." And I realized how lucky I am to have her. She's been amazing throughout this whole ordeal. I couldn't walk, and my ankle was still very swollen, so I messaged my travel insurance company to see if I could get a medical evacuation back home to the States. They said that they would pay for it if I could get a doctor's note saying that I and fly. So my girlfriend messaged a friend who lives in Thailand, and he agreed to drive us to the hospital. When they arrived, the doctor took x-rays and looked at my ankle. He said that it wasn't broken and that I could fly. I was so frustrated because I still couldn't walk, but because I couldn't get a note from the doctor, my insurance wouldn't pay for the flight home. So we had to find another solution. My girlfriend found an English-speaking physical therapist who agreed to come to our hotel and check my ankle. He told us that I need to be non-weight bearing on my foot for 3 weeks and recommended that I get crutches. At this point, I was desperate to get home to the States. So I contacted a medical transfer company and they said that they could fly me home on a medical aircraft. This was a last resort and it was insanely expensive. Even though I had travel insurance, this wasn't covered and my credit card offered no help either. So I had to use my savings to pay for the flight. The day before I left, the physical therapist came back to check on me and see if I could bear weight on my foot. Luckily, I could. So the next day, I flew home. I figured since I could now put weight on it, that meant I could walk. As soon as I landed and went through customs, I tried to stand up and walk to get my luggage. But as soon as I put weight on it, I fell. Luckily, my girlfriend was there to catch me and help me get my bags. I had to hobble to the car in a lot of pain. I got back to the States and saw a doctor. He said that I severely bruised the bones in my foot. There are no fractures or tears to any of the ligaments or tendons, which is a miracle given the severity of the pain and swelling. He put me in a walking boot and said that I have to be non-weight bearing for 2 weeks. I'm now back home recovering, but because of the severity of the injury, I can't work. And this means that I won't be able to afford rent for the next month or 2. I want to thank everyone for their support. If you have any advice on how to make my recovery faster, please leave them in the comments below. Also, if you know anyone who works for a medical facility that helps people with injuries like mine, please get them to contact me. I would greatly appreciate the help. I really hope that this is a lesson to everyone watching. I always thought that spraining your ankle was no big deal. You just need to walk it off. But after this experience, I will never take it lightly. If you have ever sprained your ankle, please let me know how long it took to recover in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experiences. If you haven't seen my other Thailand videos, I highly recommend checking them out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Oh, and a special thanks to my girlfriend. She has been absolutely amazing throughout all of this. I don't know what I would have done without her. She insisted on coming to Thailand with me, even though she had to use all her vacation time for it. She missed work and lost money for being here, but she did it anyway. Because of her, I'm alive, and I'm sure that many of you guys agree. So thank you, girlfriend's name.